I used to think maybe I was just unlikable. At my last newsy job, the person who made my life difficult wasn't a man in a corner office like you might expect. It was another woman. She was sharp, respected, and had survived the boys' club years of journalism. She also belittled me in meetings, rolled her eyes when I took time off, and once said, "When I was your age, I just got on with it." At first I thought, okay, maybe that's just her. Maybe I do just kind of suck and I'm not that likable. But the more young women I talked to, the more I heard the exact same story. The hardest bosses weren't always men. Sometimes they were the women who had to act like men to make it. So I wanted to know, is this personal or generational? Is there something about Gen X women, the original girl bosses, that makes them so tough on the rest of us? Anything to prove I'm likable, anything. I've done a lot of research to prove that I'm a likable person. Let's go. The first one's through the fire. If you were a Gen X woman born between 1965 and 1980-ish, and you worked in media, you were breaking into one of the most male industries on earth. In the 80s and 90s, women were less than a third of newsroom staff. Editors-in-chief were almost entirely male. Sexism wasn't just subtle, it was the culture. Female journalists from that era described being called sweetheart in editorial meetings, being assigned soft stories, or being told to sleep your way into exclusives. So the women who made it had to be extraordinary, and often extraordinarily hard. They learned the system wouldn't change for them, so they changed themselves. They outworked everyone, stayed late, never complained. Pain became proof that you were serious. That survival mode eventually calcified into a worldview. I did it without help, so should you. Now fast forward 30 years, Gen Z women walk into those same offices saying, "I'd like flexibility, mental health support, equal parental leave, maybe not an email at 11 p.m. To them, that is baseline decency. To many Gen X managers, it sounds a lot like entitlement. Research consistently shows this values split. Gen X are all about autonomy, endurance, and loyalty. Gen Z are all about meaning, transparency, and well-being. A 2023 review found Gen Z prioritized purpose and mental health, while Gen X emphasized independence and self-management. An Ipsos global poll from this year confirmed that Gen X and Gen Z differ more than any other pair on work-life balance and diversity policies. More than boomers. To Gen X, boundaries read as weakness. To Gen Z, burnout reads as bad management. So that's not just a clash of styles, it's a clash of survival strategies. The making of a queen bee. There is a name for the behavior many of us have felt, the queen bee phenomenon. A 2016 review by Naomi Alamers defines it as women leaders assimilate into male-dominated organizations by distancing themselves from junior women and legitimizing gender inequality in their organization. It is a trauma response, not a personality flaw. When a workplace rewards toughness over empathy, women learn to suppress anything that looks feminine. Then they punish it in others. A 2019 study in the Academy of Business Studies journal found that leaders with queen bee characteristics are more likely to give lower-rated performance evaluations to their female subordinates than males, thus limiting junior women's advancement. Translation for you. The women at the top often, consciously or not, pull up the ladder behind them. And you see it everywhere. It is such a common thing. It's the senior producer who tells a young reporter, "Oh, you're not ready for politics, it'll eat you alive." Or the editor who assigns every emotional labor story to another woman because, "Oh, you'll do it better." Or it's the boss who says, "Don't talk about burnout, it makes us all look bad." They think they're protecting you, but what they're really doing is replicating the system that hurt them. Women who rose in the 90s newsroom survived by proving that they could hang with the boys. They laughed off sexist jokes, they outworked everyone, they powered through pregnancies, they never took leave. Because in that world, the worst thing you could be was difficult, and the second worst was needy. It sucked. As Alamers put it, queen bee behavior emerges as a response to social identity threat, women distancing themselves from their group to cope with discrimination. So these women weren't born hard and mean. The industry trained them to be. And the longer you survive that way, the harder it is to unlearn. It wasn't personal, it was structural. Honestly, I think that's why being just fully hated on by a Gen X woman felt so confusing. It wasn't random cruelty, it was ideology. I mean, she genuinely believed she was teaching me resilience, maybe. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. But the truth is, resilience without reform is just endurance, and endurance is not equality. The National Academy's 2006 report, Removing Barriers, Women in Academic STEM, said it perfectly almost 20 years ago. When women succeed in hostile systems, it does not mean bias is gone. It means they adapted to it. And that is the Gen X story in one line. They adapted magnificently, but adaptation isn't liberation. And this same logic does feed into politics. It's not just at work. Women-led conservative groups such as the Independent Women's Forum have opposed federal paid family leave proposals, arguing they would reduce women's flexibility and wages. Their statement says, government-mandated leave would push women out of the workforce and limit choice. It's the exact corporate feminism logic we hear in offices. Structural help is weakness. Independence is strength. It's feminism rewritten as self-reliance, not solidarity. Pioneers, not villains. Gen X women aren't villains. Don't get me wrong. They were pioneers asked to pay the toll for everyone behind them. They lost sleep, marriages, sometimes their sanity, proving women could survive in systems that were never built for them. But now younger women are saying, thank you, but I don't want to survive that way. And that can feel like rejection, when in reality it's really just evolution. Because if the system changes now, it means their suffering wasn't noble, it was unnecessary. And that realization hurts. And hurt, unprocessed, looks a lot like hostility. So maybe the goal isn't to cancel the queen bee, it's to retire her, replace endurance with empathy, replace I figured it out with let me show you how. The research is really clear. Mentorship and sponsorship are the fastest route to gender equity. Paid parental leave increases retention and leadership diversity. Flexible scheduling doesn't reduce productivity, it actually increases it. And progress isn't pain tolerance. It's redesign, rethinking, rejudging, trying something new. Altogether. But redesign starts when every woman who kicked a door open decides that she has to be done guarding it. Because lifting all women up only works if nobody is still standing on the ladder. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe because we make videos about powerful people, bad decisions, and the occasional existential crisis, kind of like this one today. We're also here for you 5 days a week, sometimes 4, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it too much. If you like this video, check out the one I did on why white women keep voting Trump. I also don't hate Gen X women, okay? Maybe just 1 or 2 specifically. No, I cut that out. Bye.